I don't know that there's some next really big thing. I think we're kind of steady and consistent and faithful, and we'll just continue to kind of be Midwest, to like, we're not flashy, we're just really good at stuff, and we'll just keep doing it. We'll just keep doing it.
I like that. We're not flashy, we're just good at stuff.
And I think put that on a t-shirt. I'll wear
it. Honestly.
I like that.
Where do you find a family of communities connected by the storied Mississippi River, where young explorers and dreamers, investors and entrepreneurs thrive? Where can you connect with real people living and creating in a place that's as genuine as it is quirky? QC, that's where.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to QC That's Where. I'm Katrina, and I'm so psyched to be with some great QC area running influences here today. We've got Phil Young, the owner of Fleet Feet Davenport, and race director Joe Moreno, and also former East Moline Mayor Joe Moreno. You may remember those years. So hey, you guys, thank you so much for your time today. How's it going?
Yeah, thanks for having us, Katrina.
Yeah, this is awesome.
So we're spring of 2022. We're knocking on summer right now. I'm a runner myself. I think it's safe to say we are like in full swing running season, although running season for the very passionate really never ends. But we're really getting into road races and trail running and stuff right now. So I kind of would love to hear from each of you. What's on the docket happening right now? What are you planning for?
Well, Phil, I think you should go first, because you're down to crunch time with your race this weekend.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this on Monday, on Memorial Day, we've got our second annual Quad Cities Running Festival. We launched the race last year, just kind of coming out of a strange couple years, and people were looking for an event, and we felt like there was a nice little vacancy just in the calendar to do something with excellence and give people time to gather, and a cool half marathon distance. And so yeah, we this weekend we'll have on Monday rather, we'll have a half marathon, a 7 mile, a 5K, and then some kids running and stuff, along with a bunch of other activities. But we're out at the TBK Bank Sports Complex, 7 a.m. bright and early. It's going to be a warm day, so we're going to start nice and early. But we've got big crowd, lots of good sponsors. Really fun group of people to work with. So that's coming up Monday. That's the first thing, kind of the only thing on my mind right now. And then I'll get past that and we'll see what's next.
So what you got going on?
I got a lot going on too, but I just want to say something about Phil.
Oh yeah.
He hit it on the head. He said for this weekend, for the festival, a fun bunch of a group of people that are putting this on. And that's so true. If it's a Phil Young event, with Fleet Feet, it's always going to be fun. There's a fun group of people. It's not just, the races where you just come and compete. It's going to be fun before, during, and after with his events. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually running races here again. It's been a while since I've been out of that, but yeah, I'm doing the race this weekend, and I think my grandkids are too, so it'll be fun.
Sweet. Yeah.
So just the 5K, mind you, Phil, don't get carried away.
Great. No, that's great.
Yeah. No, Katrina, I'm always I feel like I'm a juggler. I've got all these balls in the air for this race and that race and this race and this event, and there's always things going on that you're preparing for year round. And sometimes it gets tough because you're just catching a ball while you're releasing another ball. And every day there is something to do for every one of those races or events. And I say events because it's evolved to just more than just a race, as Phil can attest. It's not just race day or race weekend. There's things leading up to it. Parties, events, training runs, all that stuff. So it really takes a toll, but it's all worth it.
Totally.
So, when you're planning races, when you're juggling, and when you're, especially Phil, like you said, the race this weekend has multiple events. Like, what's top of mind? What do you prioritize to put it together?
Yeah, I mean, Joe's got a lot more experience here, and some bigger, more marquee events with the Quad Cities Marathon specifically. But I would say, I mean, I'm primarily considering the user experience. At the end of the day, if people aren't signing up for the event, we don't have an event, and so we want to go start to finish. Just make sure that people feel like they're receiving value for the dollars that they're spending. And like Joe alluded to earlier, we just want people to have fun. So we're trying to, make sure that we've checked all the boxes. And at this point, it's fine tuning and small little details that we're just making sure, hey, have we checked on this? Has this stuff shown up? Do we have enough people over here? But man, you got to make sure that there's enough volunteers in the right spots to create a good experience. The things that we can't control is, weather and all that business. But yeah, I think at this point, it's making sure that that we don't let a small little thing that could have been anticipated and tweaked, let that be the thing that gives somebody a bad experience. So, from the shirts fitting right and looking good to making sure that there's clear communication on emails and stuff about where to go and what time to be there. That's kind of what's on my mind right now.
From participating in races, both of you have obviously and committed and participated on committees for races and directing races. I mean, do you have a preference of the three, whether it's more fun to be the head honcho or whether it's more fun to actually just get out there and run?
What do you think, Joe?
I think running is easier. It's like we're Phil and I are wedding planners. You work year round for this one day, and within a couple hours, it's over with. It's done. Once the gun goes off and everybody's running, it's out of your control. And you just trust that everybody's in position, everybody's in place, everything is where it's supposed to be, and everybody has a good time. Nobody's injured. That's what you hope for. But it's year-round planning for one event. And I'd like to add too, it's, and Phil knows this too. I mean, it's not just runners. We say hey, are you running this race this weekend or that race? The word, you just said it too, Katrina, participation. This day and age anymore, personally, I'm targeting the walkers. I want walkers to participate because for many, that's how they get into the industry or the sport or the hobby is they start walking and they enjoy it, and that was well organized, and that leads to the next weekend or the next month they do another one, and all of a sudden they're engaged and they love it. And the key word is participation. I try to be careful not to use the word run or runners all the time. It's walkers too.
Yeah, I've noticed just in my time here that the running scene has expanded and grown. I would say over the last 10 years, that's what my perspective has been. What would you guys say to that?
Yeah, my perspective is, everyone's perspective is unique. For me, I grew up here. It was here till the early 2000s, and then went off to Iowa City and did college and started a family, and so we haven't been back, but for a little more than 6 years. But even in that time, I would agree with you. I'd say it's growing. I think when we opened our shop, that there's been a bit of a youth, and let's call me youth. Let's call 25 to 40. I think there's a younger crowd that has found the activity as like a social outlet and a means to better health and stress relief and all those things. You do have people who have decided they like running races and they like setting goals and they like doing those things. And maybe culturally they feel like I'm the runner guy or the runner girl. But I think community has a big part to do with it. You can build community around a number of things. And I think running as an activity, it lends itself to doing that because of the try hard and the work hard and do it together. And then I'd also, I mean, it'd be foolish to not mention that, COVID and the couple of years that we had there, there has been another boom. Like people, they couldn't go to the gym, they couldn't do some of their more organized activities, and folks got outside. I mean, Joe alluded to the walking crowd. Like people are outside walking, running. Trail running is up. People were just like, I'm gonna go to the woods and get away from everything. So it's an exciting time. We sell shoes and whatever, but to see more people at events, to see more people using our recreational trail system, like it's definitely happening.
Yeah, like QC Fork, there's a whole, like you said, network of trails, and I think the accessibility has gone up as well. Iowa and Illinois are connected in more ways than ever. So you can do kind of a bridge run, it's I-74, or obviously like Centennial Bridge, Arsenal Bridge. There's a million ways to get from one side to the other. And I think that's an attractive asset of the Quad Cities and being part of that running active community.
Yeah, and let me add, the municipalities, government in general is noticing that trend to the point where they're investing in extending recreational trails and connecting with other communities. And finally, here in East Moline, for example, we're getting, it might only be a 1.5 mile trail, but it is a trail. It's going to entice participation here within East Moline, and it's going to connect to the riverfront in phase 2. So, which once it's connected to the riverfront, then it's connected to Davenport, as far away as Davenport, Rock Island, Moline, Bettendorf, everybody. So it is exciting that it's not just the social aspect of it, it's community aspect. It's they see the writing on the wall that everybody wants to be a little healthier, and we have to invest in that approach. We, the powers that be with the cities. So it's a good thing to see that.
Definitely.
I would add, piggyback there, as a budding race director, if city governments didn't play nice on creating courses and closing down paths and using parks and doing all that, like we wouldn't have the great events that we have. And that, the Quad Cities Marathon, as an example, it has played a large role in building the running community here. And let's say that we can't put an event like that on because nobody wants to let us close streets and do things like, then you don't, then the community feels a lot different. So even just the collaboration on when somebody has a vision for an event to bring people together, those things don't stand alone on one weekend. They have a ripple effect. They bring people together. They create relationships. But I think it also revs the engine of, we have an active community that's vibrant and wanting to get out and use the systems and build more systems and so on.
Yeah, you mentioned, go ahead, Joe. Yeah, please.
Yeah, let me go first because I'm old and I'll forget my thought. You're young. Katrina, I can't stress enough the team effort. It's not just the race director and his committee and the sponsors. Fortunately, in the Quad Cities, we have an awesome team. And let me put a plug in for Dave Harrell at Visit Quad Cities. Talk about a cheerleader and a spokesperson for us. Yep. I know when he's out there traveling the state or the region, that he's plugging our community with all these different positive aspects. And I know one of those is the fitness aspect that Phil and I are talking about here. So what a great team we have to have the municipalities and Visit Quad Cities and the race committees and the sponsors and the volunteers all on the same team. That really adds up to a winning combination.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. A well-deserved shout out to Dave, and a well-deserved shout out to our community leaders and those who are involved in law enforcement and, city councils, I think, Joe, you mentioned it, you said it so well, at the TBK Bank QC Marathon announcement just recently, where all of this, all of the collaboration really comes together because we're all on the same team, whether you're in Bettendorf, Iowa, or Rock Island, Illinois. The marathon goes over all 4 of those cities. And so you need that teamwork.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it will not work. What did you call it? You called it a night. Logistically, it's a nightmare, but it's
Yeah.
but it is so worth it, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a logistical nightmare, but when you wake up, it is so worth it.
So let's go ahead, and I think we need to spend a little time on the marathon. 25 years.
Yeah.
25 years this September, and you've been directing it the whole time. And there's a new course. There's just so much exciting things coming up for the 2022. So can we dive into that a little bit? What can people who have or haven't been part of it expect this year?
Well, I think we've come to the realization that people expect certain things when they go to different events. For example, the races I've run, let's say, I'll just pick a race down in Florida. I ran a race down there recently, last year, and it was nothing compared to what we do in the Quad Cities. We have spoiled our race participants, and we want to do that. We want to. It's not a negative; it's a positive. We want to spoil them. We want them to expect a well-organized event, a good post-race party, an accurate course, a lot of bling, a lot of swag. Some positive smiles when they check in and check out. I think we do it well, and I'm very proud of our team. But being our anniversary, you have to turn it up a notch. So I asked every one of my committee members in their respective areas, what could you do to make your respective area better? Not so much bigger, but better. And if everybody focuses on that and turns it up a notch or two in their area, I think the participants are going to see, it's going to be very obvious that they have a good experience. And it's all about the experience. And like Phil said, the value of their investment into this event or any event. But the Quad Cities Marathon, the TBK Quad Cities Marathon, I'll tell you, Katrina, I never thought I would be in this position 25 years ago, and here we are, and I've enjoyed it, and I see a light in the end of the tunnel where I'm going to bow out and let some of these youngsters like Phil, I see you taking over. The time has come, because I'm old school, I'm old fashioned, but I'm just excited that we've made it this far and we're still going strong.
Well said. Yeah, it's going strong. I think it's going to continue to get bigger and better because more and more participants come in every year. I personally run the relay. It's like the funnest thing I do all year because everyone kind of picks their own little piece. And when you reunite at the end and cross the finish to get, with your 4 buddies that you ran with, it's like, I don't know, there's nothing better. And you just feel like you really got something done that day and that you got to see a lot. I would highly recommend, I always recommend, I tout the relay so hard because it's just so much fun.
It is. I like that. That's I'm very proud of that. Not too many relays across the country provide the service that we do. And it's a credit to Metrolink, Jeff Nelson and his team. A lot of other relays, they have to do their own transportation to and from the transition areas. Not at the TBK Quad Cities Marathon. We provide that thanks to Metrolink, and people notice that, the convenience.
Yeah, it's really well oiled as far as offering people, okay, if your relay leg ends here, hop on this bus and we'll take you back here. It's, it takes a little team meeting and then you're set to go for the day. So I always like that one. Hopefully I'll run the marathon someday. gearing up
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
So let's chat outside of the race world, just casual running, running clubs. What do you guys suggest for if someone's visiting or someone's moving here? How do you get into the running space here?
Phil?
Yeah, visiting, visiting, that's probably a little more difficult. I think we can do an even better job of providing some resources to make sure that people can be directed to at least the 2 or 3 real simple resources. The Riverfront Trail on the Illinois side, going by Ben Butterworth, which is now even a little more integrated with the bridge. The Mississippi River Trail on the Iowa side, and then the Duck Creek trail system. We've got some nice little arteries that provide an easy, park your car here and you can go, and you don't have to worry about getting lost in the big city or something like that. So we've got those are wonderful resources for the visitor. I think you're moving to the Quad Cities. Selfishly, I'd say, you find the local running store and you ask somebody in there what's going on. And, we've got a pretty vibrant group of people meeting weekly to train, for Joe's race. And we just had a group kind of finish up working towards our half marathon. But then we got weekly meetups, from different trailheads and parks and pubs and stuff during the week, where you can meet a buddy and kind of find your community, find your niche. So it's not hard. I think the Facebook or whatever, just finding one of those little spots where you can say, hey, does that night of the week work for me? I think one of the good things that we have going for us is generally, you notice this when you leave the Quad Cities and the Midwest, even more generally, but people are pretty nice here. You'll be welcomed into a new group, and that's a big deal, especially if it's a new activity. If you're anxious about running, never mind running in front of somebody or running with somebody, or will I be able to keep up, or I don't know where I'm going. Those are barriers. And I think, to join in with a group at 6:30 on a Wednesday from Ruby's downtown, and do a little bridge loop and get to see our river and see our resources and meet a friend. I think, being welcomed in that way is a big deal. It'll keep you coming back and get you kind of into the fold.
Yeah, I always suggest people, just for that fear of, oh, am I going to be able to keep up? What if I can't? I don't want to get lost. We do have really great trail systems here. However, for simplicity, I always recommend, if someone's not familiar with the area, you park at Schwiebert Park in Rock Island, and you just do, Government Bridge. You can see downtown Davenport, run across the river and back over Centennial. It's I think it's around 3 miles, something like that,
Yep.
Maybe a little shy. But it's a good way to see stuff, and you're not going to get lost because you can see your end point from pretty much wherever you are, which is nice.
Yeah.
So
And now,
yeah, go ahead, please.
oh, and now with the new I-74 bridge crossing, it could be even a bigger loop for those that want to. You're not going to get lost if you go from this bridge to this bridge and you just stay on the river sides. You're not going to get lost. So it is a pretty cool thing compared to other communities where you would have to explain, you're going to go down this path and you're going to take a left over here and whatever. With us, it's just stay along the river, cross the bridge, stay along the river, cross the bridge.
Yeah,
Yep.
let the river be your guide.
Yes, exactly.
I'm curious, how did the two of you get into running? Where did this all start for you? Yes, I love the laughter. I want to hear the story.
Joe invented running.
Yeah, I'm that old.
That's awesome.
Felipe, let me tell my story because it's a sad story, and then you can close with your positive. I'm sure it's positive.
Okay.
Katrina, I was a troubled teenager in the early years in high school. And these two guys came to my house from an organization called the Youth Service Bureau. And they said, you're coming with us. I thought I was in trouble again. So I went with them and they took me out for an ice cream. They mentored me. They talked to me every weekend during the week. And they just happened to be runners. And just one thing led to another. They took me to races. I started participating. I started liking it. I went out for the sport in school. After high school, and I'm married, I thought I'd volunteer at some local races. Next thing you know, I'm on a committee. Next thing you know, I'm a race director. But my whole life, this year, 2022, is my 50th anniversary of consistent running. So I'm really happy about that. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. Like, actually, congratulations. That's so cool.
I think so too. Yeah. Now, Phil's got a better story.
No, my story is going to be terrible. I watched my parents enjoy the activity. Growing up, we lived over by St. Ambrose University. There was a race called the Killer Bee 5K that ran right by our house, and they're both alumni there. And so we kind of saw that happen. And then it was the Bix. I remember I was 10 years old when I ran my first Bix with my mom, and she'd be happy to hear this. She made me stay with her for the first 6 miles, and then I just buried her on the last mile.
You feel it. You got to go for it,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, but what's funny, this is a side note, but she is going to run, my mother is going to run the Bix with my oldest daughter this year. It'll be her first time doing it. So, and she's 10, so it's cute. It's a nice little thing. So, started doing that. I would say for me, in a bit of a similar fashion from a community aspect, I tried to walk onto the cross country and track team at the University of Iowa and was faced with rejection. I wasn't fast enough, really. So that didn't go well. And that kind of broke me related to the activity. Like I didn't know kind of how to interact with the sport anymore because I was finding my identity in being a part of a team. And as a kid, it's organized, you do the high school stuff, you're on a team, you go to the races, and that's what you do. So I had to rediscover how do I continue in this activity when I can't be on a team anymore. And so I started showing up to local races, and you meet people, you're welcomed. Everybody, from the person who finishes first to the person who's walking in the back, like everybody gets to participate, everybody's celebrated. And so I think just kind of replaying that in my mind, there was definitely this community aspect. I feel like I belong here. I feel like this is the way to engage in this activity. And surely, it was going out for runs with buddies and exploring the city and doing all those things. Because the training for me, it's not just about race day. I love doing it all week. But getting involved in a couple events and realizing, this is, as an adult, this is the way that you do this as a part of a community.
The trouble that you probably ran into in college was the distance cap. You're on a cross country team, you're capped at, I think, what is it for men? It's the 10K in college. Yeah. So clearly, let's go ahead and chat Tunnel Hill, right? The 100 miler.
Sure.
That's your forte, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Apparently, yeah.
That one, was in adulthood. You're beyond school age at this point.
Yeah.
And you won that. Is that correct?
Yeah.
How does that happen? You walk into a 100 miler and did you expect to win it? Did you train for, okay, I'm going to peak on this day and this is going to be solid?
Yeah. To the earliest point, longer was always better for me. So that, even in the college setting, track would have been difficult, because the 10K is only from over here. And this sounds crazy, but that's short. I didn't get into the longer stuff until probably 10 years ago, maybe even a little less. I think I ran a marathon in college. I started doing that, but first 50K where you're starting to really stretch the distance out was 6 or 7 years ago. But yeah, the 100-mile race. I trained for it, but there's a lot of things I didn't know. You can't fabricate. You can't do that in training. You could, yeah. But the furthest I'd gone was, I'd run a 50-mile race, but yeah, I went into the race feeling like if I was perfect, that I had a chance. And that felt arrogant. Like even just on the inside, like, there's no way, man. Like it's such a distance like that needs to be looked at with reverence, especially as a rookie, to expect that, oh, and I'm also going to do really well. I mean, the odds were it was likely that I wasn't going to finish, like that's quite likely when you attempt to do something like that. So, but I had it wasn't perfect, but it was really good. I had a really good day. It at the end, the result was perfect, but
Phil,
I don't know.
Phil, are you going to mention that during that race, at one point you were having such a hard time, you're about ready to quit, but somebody said to you, you didn't come this far to quit.
Yeah. My wife, she deserves a lot of the credit. I mean, we had built a plan, that was pretty, her job was to make sure I stuck with the plan. And, I was giving up. It was at about 60 miles and I was just not feeling great. Your brain does a lot of weird stuff when your body hurts like that. And, I just wanted to quit. And she was like, yeah, I mean, she was kind of rude. She's like, you're not, you can't quit. Like, I've got one job. It's to hand you food and tell you can't quit. And so, she didn't let me quit. I said, okay, I'll do a couple more miles, and then I'll come back and we'll check in, but I might still quit and you're not my boss. And, but I came back around and, I don't know, I guess the rest is the way that it went. I didn't quit and, I could thank her for that for sure. And,
Oh, wow.
it was pretty good.
That's such a good testament to what a good teammate, whether you're on the field with them or not, can do for you mentally. It's such a mental battle.
Yep, I would have bailed. I would have absolutely bailed. We're left to my own, devices. So.
Yeah, and Joe, that's something I see of you at the end of your races. You're always there amongst the runners and encouraging them and the high fives, and it's so important to know that there's someone on your side, whether you're married to the person or testament to your wife, or whether it's just a community member who's rallying you on.
I don't know how I got into that. It was spontaneous. It was adrenaline. It was, I just see people crossing the finish line that I know, and I just want to congratulate them, and then I don't know them. Most of them I don't know. And I just want to congratulate them. And next, you're out there till the end. And I help with some other races, and I find myself, it's not my place, Katrina. It's not my race. It's not my place. I just happen to be the guy that brought some equipment. And then I find myself out there doing the same thing at that race. I don't mean to, who knows, Phil, I might be at your finish line after after my 5K, I'm going to be high-fiving these people coming in from the 7 mile or the half or whatever, but it's just something that I've started to do, and I just can't help but do it.
Yeah, it makes a difference, man. Maybe I caught some of this from you, but you can, you're out there working your hardest, and everybody, I would say almost anybody who steps into an event like that, whether they're trying to just complete it with a friend, for a cause and to remember somebody, or it's their 100th time doing it, or they're trying to hit a specific time goal. Like, there is a battle, there is a mental battle. Should I keep going? Should I keep making it hurt this bad? Am I going to make it? That's a thing. Or does anybody see me? Do I matter? Am I a part of this community? I showed up by myself. I don't know anybody, and you can make a real difference in somebody's micro, in their little event, or maybe their day, or maybe their week or month or life or whatever, by looking at them, in the eye and cheering them on and telling them they can do it and getting a high five like that. It gets me pumped up because you can see somebody's countenance change, and to feel supported and seen, and encouraged. I mean, it's what everybody needs. I mean, outside of running even, but boy, I love that about you, Joe. I love that you're going to be there at the finish line, and we try to emulate that, in our events, and even as a part, serving at the marathon, like we try to be strategic with where are people not going to be seen, where are they going to hate their life, and how can we help lift them up out of that, because it's what people need.
Yeah.
That's one thing I have noticed I really like about the road races around here in the Quad Cities. There's like clearly planned out spots where, like in particular, the Firecracker Run, there's planned out spots where, you might be on a backstretch or like a kind of a weird road or something, but there's like the Elvis impersonator guys ready to, cheer you on or sing to you or something, that whole race. So that's, for those who don't know, that's 4th of July morning, super fun parade to follow. It's awesome. That was actually my first road race ever when I was 13.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was how I got started into it. It was my first race before my first cross country season. So been hooked ever since. But that one, I was like, you're so pumped the whole time because there's people, just cheering, or those music, kind of pockets, which is really fun. And even if you're not going out to win it or, do a PR or something, you're just out to enjoy, like you can get into those mental like lulls, and that just makes all the difference. And I've seen that in so many road races in this area.
Yeah, I think it's that, back to my point earlier, this area has learned to expect certain things from our local races, and we have to produce, we have to come through, we have to continually turn the notch up a little bit more, because you don't want to do the same thing over and over and over. You're constantly evolving to make it a better experience. So that's true. But I'm so glad you're observant of that and you appreciate that, because that tells me others do too.
Absolutely. I think it's a widely appreciated and noticed, asset here. So, I think the Quad Cities does a lot of things right. And, I kind of want to start to land on this question. What do you guys think is the future of running in the Quad Cities? Is there anything that's going to pop up or change, or where are we headed?
Phil?
Man,
Fun.
that's a good question. I think we've got some really good events that, the last couple of years have been hard. Like events are down, and we've got, and most of them belong to Joe, but we've got 5 or 6 events that are flat or up, that do a really great job, and that is very encouraging. And it's, most of it is a product of all the stuff we've just been talking about, and the way that we treat people and strive for being excellent. But I think you'll see those things continue to be here. I think the Quad Cities Marathon will turn 50, and it'll turn 75, and I think those things will keep happening. I do think the trail system, I mean, the bridge is just going to continue to create opportunity. The new I-74 bridge with the pedestrian path, I think that's a huge deal. And then even like the off-road, I think trail running is, it's the segment of running from my perspective in the footwear industry, and then also event producing. It's the segment that's growing the fastest. And we are, I would say that we are in step with that growth here locally. You mentioned Fork earlier, these mountain bike guys, man, guys and gals rather, we've got an awesome trail system, and they just keep building new parks and putting new little offshoots onto the existing systems. And people are still finding out about them and getting out to use them. So I think that'll continue to grow. Trail running will definitely be a thing, but I'd just like to see more people out along the river and on the Duck Creek Trail and showing up to events. And I think we can do some cool things. I think we can raise a lot of money for some great nonprofits that need support. We'll continue to do that. And I don't know that there's some next really big thing. I think we're kind of steady and consistent and faithful, and we'll just continue to kind of be Midwest, to like, we're not flashy, we're just really good at stuff, and we'll
Love
just keep doing it. We'll just keep doing it.
Yes.
I like that. We're not flashy. We're just good at stuff. And I think
put that on a t-shirt. I'll wear it.
Honestly.
I like that. Just to add to what Phil said, and he closed with this comment about nonprofits. I think, races come and go. You've seen so many races over the years that are no longer here. And this is pre-COVID that used to be here and are no longer here. Yeah, COVID put the kibosh to a lot of those, but the strong will survive, they say. Well, I say it's all about organization and purpose. You don't just want to throw a race and put a race on just to have it. There has to be a reason. There has to be a purpose. For example, Phil's race this weekend, the running festival, Live Fit with Lupus. What a great cause. What a great beneficiary. A few weeks ago, Phil and I organized the Gonzo Cinco de Mayo race for the Autism Center. That's their only fundraiser. What a great organization that is. And when people know that their involvement is helping something like that, I think, and it entices them to get more involved. So I'm just proud that all the races that I'm involved with have a great beneficiary connected to them. And I think that's real important. Back to the walkers, that's where a lot of walkers come in, where they might not be runners or race participants, but they're participating because of the purpose, because of the cause, the beneficiary. So I think that's real important. We're real strong in the Quad Cities in that area.
I totally agree. It's all about what's behind it, because you might not be a runner, you might not really want to, but if you can get behind a cause, oh, well, it's Susan G. Komen, I'll go out for that and, register and stuff. So, I definitely see the value in, getting behind a good cause. And it not only helps the organization or the charity, but it also scoops up a few more people into this community. And I think the more people that are into running and get involved, the safer it becomes, honestly, because you've got more friends in the, on the trails when you're out running, and, you got more people you can count on when you need something, and just creating a better network. So yeah, I think it all lends to a bigger, better community. We're not flashy, we're just good at stuff. So
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to end on a little tradition we have on this podcast, where you both will fill in the blank. So whenever you're ready, QC, that's where.
Phil, you want to go first, or should I?
Don't fight over it. Whoever wants to go first.
Let's see. I'll go. QC, that's where the mayor high fives you as you cross the finish line.
Love
QC,
it.
that's where, right? QC, that's where the mayor takes the gum out of his mouth that I should have done like 20 minutes ago. QC, that's where, affordable fees are the norm. Convenience is expected. Midwest charm is universal.
Yeah.
And you always get to run by the mighty Mississippi. QC, that's where.
Oh, man.
That was unbeatable. That was fantastic.
I didn't go to college. Hey, Felipe, I didn't go to college for that. That just came out of my.
I don't think you went to bed last night. I think you were practicing that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Katrina, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much for your time. I feel like I could talk running with you guys for 3 more hours, but you are busy race directors. You've got a lot going on. I will let you go. So I will just say this to those listening, please check out, we've got running events and all kinds of great things, activities going on in the Quad Cities visit quadcities.com/events. Where would you guys like to send our listeners to check out what's happening in the area?
Yeah, I'd say this week it's quadcitiesrunningfestival.com.
I would agree. And after that, we've got the Motown Mile. We've got Royal Ball Run. We got Gigi's Playhouse. We got the Firecracker, the Freedom Run, the Marathon. There's a lot of stuff going on. So thank you, Quad Cities. Thank you, Katrina. Thank you, Phil.
It's exciting. Come run with us.
Thanks for listening to QC That's Where, a podcast powered by Visit Quad Cities. Text Visit QC to 38314 for insider events, activities, and updates sent straight to your phone. That's VISITQC, one word, to 38314. Message and data rates may apply.